G'day, legend. Coach Neil from Black Dog Brotherhood, and welcome to Pillar 2 Nutrition. So once again, there's only so much we could actually fit into the ebook on nutrition. And if you've read it by now, you'll know that nutrition was probably the longest chapter that we had in there, the longest pillar that we had. So there's quite a lot of information that we couldn't put in there. So what I want to do is I want to take probably about 5, maybe 6 minutes to try and spread that out a little bit and give you a little bit more clarity on nutrition, because the reason that nutrition is before training is nutrition is actually far more important when it comes to body composition, and it's far more important when it comes to your headspace, because the foods that you eat play a very, very real part in the emotions that you feel. So it looks a little bit like this. Okay, so we break it down into 3 levels. Okay, I could break this down a lot more, but everything we do at the Black Dog Brotherhood is about simplicity, because the simpler something is, the more likely you are to adhere to it, and the easier it is to adhere to for a long time. So the first and most important part of nutrition for your headspace and nutrition for your body composition, okay, is the type of foods that we eat. Okay, this is actually really simple. We don't complicate this. It is so simple. It is literally just eat natural. Chemicals, preservatives, fucking artificial colorings, artificial sweeteners, they have all been scientifically validated, scientifically proven, and scientifically linked to fucking numerous lifestyle diseases, obesity, diabetes, heart disease, and mental health conditions. Okay, I'm going to simplify this, but generally what happens is, you've heard the saying, you are what you eat. That is true on a cellular level. So when you eat food, it goes down to your stomach, your gut acid breaks it back up into its base chemical fucking components. Those then get pushed into various parts of the body depending on what their roles are. So generally when we talk about macronutrients, we're talking about your carbs, your fats, your proteins, and they all serve very different roles inside of the body, okay? But then when you start to get artificial colors and flavors and fucking preservatives and all this other crap, what happens is that this stuff is literally pushed into your cells, okay? The food that you eat goes to your gut, gets broken down, gets converted into energy or whatever purpose it's getting broken down into, and it then gets pushed into your cells to be transported around your body, okay? Now, here's the thing. There's a process in your body called autophagy, and what that is it's basically the death of cells. Your body is always killing off old cells to replace them with new cells. And over a period of about 7 years, you literally replace every single cell in your body. So the person you are today is a 100% different person from the person you were 7 years ago on a cellular level. Now, if you are continually feeding your cells with artificial colors, artificial flavors, preservatives, and other fucking chemicals, what do you think is being pushed into your cells? Okay? It starts to stockpile. So if you've been on a really bad diet for up to 7 years, then a big part of your genetic makeup, of your chemical composition on a cellular level, is made up of the crap that you have eaten. And that plays a very massive part in why your headspace may be so low. But the good news is this process is ongoing. It's always happening. So the damage isn't permanent. You can start to repair it by changing out the artificial foods and the artificial crap for natural foods. Okay, my philosophy is really simple. If it came from the earth, if it came from the ocean, if it had a soul, if it had eyes, eat it. Okay, the more processing that it's fucking had, the more stuff that's been added to it so it can last longer, the more packaging it's had to be put into, okay, try to steer clear of it. Don't feel like you need to do this all at once. It's a process, and I'm always telling the guys in the Brotherhood, there's always another week, okay? You can ease into this, and you focus on getting one level right at a time. So once you've got that down and you're eating all natural, then we move into the second type, and that is the second level, and that's portion. Okay? Portion is what is going to control your body composition. So type is for your headspace, and everything we do in the Black Dog Brotherhood is about your headspace first. Okay? Portion is about your body composition. Okay, in a nutshell, your body composition is dictated by calories in, calories out, but it's so much more in depth than that. If you've read the ebook, you'll know that calorie counting itself is actually a highly, highly ineffective method of losing weight. Number one, it's not sustainable for a long term. You'll get the shits with it after a week, let alone staying on it for life. So we do everything by portions. Now, I'm not going to break the portions down in here because you've got the ebook. Go back to the ebook and it explains how we use our hands to portion our food, and that eliminates all the weighing and measuring and all that sort of crap. The key thing to know is that the portions that are in the ebook, they're a starting point, and you need to track the results that you get from that for not less than 4 weeks, because that's going to tell you what those portions are doing to your body. If you're eating those portions and nothing's really changing in body composition, that means you're probably eating right where you need to be for health. But if you want to lose a little bit of body fat, you're going to need to knock a bit of the starchy carbs out. So all you simply want to do is just knock 1 portion a day of your starchy carbs off of your starting total, and you'll start to see results. Okay, same thing if you want to start to put on a bit of size. If you're really skinny, if you're an ectomorph or a naturally really skinny person, you want to start to put on size and you're not seeing those results, add a portion of starchy carbs to your day. And then you can just literally tweak it whichever way you're going by adding or taking away a portion of starchy carbs to start to reach your body composition goals. Okay. Now, the last part that we focus on is intermittent fasting. Okay. So again, you don't want to be doing intermittent fasting if your types aren't correct and if your portions aren't correct, because you're wasting your time. You need to get these two in check before you actually start. When it comes to intermittent fasting, for those who haven't heard, okay, intermittent fasting is essentially a period of not eating followed by a shorter period of eating. There's about 1,000 different ways to do intermittent fasting. The protocol that we use is 16 and 8. There's 24 hours in a day, 16 hours a day you don't eat, 8 hours a day you have a feed window. And you eat the correct, it's not a green light to go nuts and just stuff yourself with junk food because I'm magically going to lose weight because I haven't eaten for 16 hours. You need to be doing these two right before you implement intermittent fasting for it to be effective. All intermittent fasting is going to do is it is going to accelerate your rate of weight loss, and it can accelerate your rate of muscle gain, okay? So through fat loss, when you're doing the training, if you're doing that training in a fasted condition, first thing in the morning after you haven't eaten, your body is pretty much depleted of glycogen. That's your stored energy sources, and that means it's going to have to rely on stored body fat as your primary fuel to get through the workouts. When you finally eat, because you've had this massive workout and your glycogen depleted, what that means is that as long as you're eating the correct portions and not over that, what's going to happen is all that food is going to go straight towards replenishing your glycogen and repairing your muscle tissue. There won't be anything spare to go to body fat. Okay. So the end result is that intermittent fasting, it helps you to manage your hunger. It helps with that process of autophagy that we were talking about before. So the killing off of dead cells and replacing it with new cells. But it also accelerates fat loss and muscle growth. So that's why we implement it. But there's no point going to intermittent fasting if you haven't got your portions down and you haven't got your types down, okay? So that is, in a nutshell, that is the nutritional protocol that we use inside of the Black Dog Brotherhood. If you've got any questions, feel free to reply to the email. I'm happy to answer anything. Otherwise, take care of yourself, take care of your friends, and I'll talk to you real soon.